Welcome to office hours, guys. It's not class. We in the office right now. But just wanted to check in and see if anybody was gonna look at that Kahoot. Had a little prize going on for the Kahoot off the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day celebration activity. Not really a celebration, but it was about the history of New Year's. You can definitely catch that lesson, on the channel. And for a few days I had the Kahoot running. Usually we do the Kahoot together and we're able to get results right away. But I know everybody's in their own little spaces right now. People at work, people have school, people have kids. We're not in the same place at the same time. I'm trying to find a better way to get us organized, to get us together so we can all be on the same page. But the last time I sent out a form, about 50 of you were telling me all different times, and nobody could get on the same page. And I definitely know how that is. Like, look at the time now. It's like 10:20 something. It's really late. My eyes are burning. I've been working all day. I'm tired myself. But I just said I needed to check in because today the Kahoot was due. And I did say we have something very special for the winner. But before we get into that, I just wanted to not only talk about getting us organized more as a class, as a unit, but I also want to talk about something very important that I haven't done in a while, but I plan on doing a lot more of it, which is teaching people how to read. A lot of you are so eager to learn how to speak English. You want to be more fluent. You want to get rid of your accents. Some people want to be able to have conversations with people at work, be able to have conversations with people at school. And at the end of the day, all of that is great. All of that will help you with your English. But remember, we talk about the four modalities, the four things that you have to be doing in order to become fluent in English. That's listening. You're listening to conversations that people have. You're listening to music, listening to television shows. It's also writing, being able to express yourself and communicate through emails, through text messages, traditional pen, pencil, and paper, being able to relay information, being able to show people important information in written form. All right, that's text. And we have speaking, which a lot of you definitely prioritize. A lot of the people that I talk to who are trying to improve their English skills really love focusing on the speaking part, even though it seems to be probably the last thing that people catch up on. But I believe it's not the most effective strategy when it comes to being a fluent English speaker. It's definitely important, but I wouldn't say that it's the most effective. Right now, it feels like I'm going blind. I could barely see. I'm looking at you directly on the laptop, but I usually have my projector on. Do you mind if I turn on my projector? I'll be looking up there, but I'll still see you. But it's just like I'll have a bigger view of you. All right, give me a second. Let me turn on the projector. I just don't want to be rude. I don't want you to think that I'm not looking directly at you and speaking to you. I'm still looking directly at you and speaking to you. It's just going to be nice and big, and I don't have to worry about, putting these on and wearing these. Yeah, when I was younger, it was great not having to worry about reading glasses, being able to look at a regular small laptop screen or phone screen and being able to see exactly what I'm looking at. But these days, I guess it's the wear and tear of, being an educator, especially during remote learning, during COVID-19. That that situation had me on the computer all day, all night. And ever since then, my eyes started messing with me a little bit, getting blurry. I can still see pretty clearly, but when it comes to reading and, in bright situations, in rooms that are too bright or rooms that are too dark, for some reason, I'm going to start needing my glasses more. But this projector, like right now, this is perfect. I can see everyone in here. I'm able to see myself. I'm able to see my slides if I have slides on. If I'm able to read anything, I'm able to see that without my glasses. But if I'm staring directly into this laptop screen and into this webcam right now, it hurts my eyes. So I apologize if it looks a little weird or off that I'm looking straight ahead of you. I'm actually looking directly at you, if that makes sense. So, let me share my screen. I definitely wanted to talk about the importance of reading. I think that was the last point that I was up to. We spoke about the four modalities: listening, writing, speaking, and the last one, which I thought was the most effective way to learning English, was reading. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. By the way, throw your name in the attendance in the chat so I could take attendance if you are here. I'm going to share my screen and see if we can get into one of these activities. I like to do random activities. I'm just going to have this rolling out here for a little bit. Can you see that? Put a one in the chat if you can see my screen. All right. I guess that person will come back. I think it's better if I just look directly at this and not pay attention to who's coming in here because it kind of distracts me. But yeah, just wanted to talk about reading a little bit. So um but one of the main things that reading does is it helps you learn new words. You're able to pick up on different types of vocabulary, and you could always look up definitions using a dictionary if you don't know that word. But it helps you discover new words, and you'll be able to get a larger understanding when other people are using certain words. It could help you understand grammar, the structure, how sentences are put together. Another important thing about reading is it builds confidence. If you're able to read, like for example, one of my students who's learning how to read right now, they're learning sight words pretty much, not the phonics aspect, but the sight words aspect. About 70 to 80% of the words that we read are sight words. And sight words are basically words that you have to memorize. It makes up a chunk of the different types of books that you read, the different types of articles that you read. And you really can't sound a lot of these words out. You just have to be able to look at them and know what these words mean. So those are sight words. And, he doesn't really have a big background on reading. He didn't come from a family that reads. His family actually, his parents grew up, working hard, of course, and not really taking education that seriously for themselves, but they do believe that their children should be going to school and should be learning. But as far as themselves, they were working ever since they were kids. They've been working in a different country. working on the farm, working in a factory, and basically coming home and taking care of their siblings and taking care of their parents. So when they come to this country, for a better life and they have children, everyone is drilling into them how important school is. So they believe that school is important as well. So they want their children to go to school. So they send him to school, but they don't really have the education structure in the household to be able to have him focusing on school or to be able to have him practicing the things that he needs to be able to be successful in school. So with that said, he's now learning how to read after, being in school for over 10 years, 12 years. He's now learning how to read. And after only a couple of months working with him and teaching him a few sight words, you should just see the amazing level of confidence that he has after learning these words. It's like he feels like he's on top of the world because he knows 60 words. And my goal is to teach him over 2,000 words in 1 year. And after just learning 60 words, he already feels so confident like he can read any book. So reading definitely helps you feel more confident and improves your skills, and it boosts your self-esteem. After learning a few difficult words and mastering those words, there's not a word out there that he feels he's not able to read. So if you're trying to learn English, definitely reading is one of those things that will build your confidence. Like I said before as well, helps you understand grammar, how sentences are put together. It helps you understand more. It sharpens your comprehension skills. It's like a little sharpener, for your brain. It keeps it sharp. It keeps everything intact. When someone's speaking to you, you kind of see the words that they're using, you see them inside your mind when you have a lot of practice reading. So you're not only listening to the person in the conversation, you're actually seeing the words go across your mind. Reading also teaches you about culture. You can discover people's traditions and the different types of habits that other countries have that your country may not have. We just learned that during the New Year's Eve lesson. If you check out that New Year's Eve lesson, you'll see that, different countries, different cultures celebrate the same holiday, but in different ways and also at different times. So you're discovering different traditions and daily life in not only English speaking countries, but other countries as well, but especially English speaking countries. I bet you didn't know that. You probably were celebrating New Year's the other day. I bet you didn't know that Sydney, Australia was celebrating that hours and hours before you. And if you did know that, you probably have a good idea about time zones, right? But if you knew that, did you also know that it was actually Caesar, you know, Caesar, where your haircut comes from? Caesar's that the one that actually said we need to start celebrating New Year's on January 1st. Did you know that? Right? So you learn about traditions and you learn about the history of things. Reading definitely also it could help you with life situations. Not only just your GPS on your phone, looking at the arrows, there are actually step by step directions that come with those navigations. When you go into a bank, or if you go into a doctor's office, or if you go into a even a supermarket, there are things that you have to read. There are instructions that help guide you when you're trying to search for something or when you need something. I could definitely elaborate on all of these that we're talking about, but it feels like this is just one of the things that I want to do. I want to be able to use this online platform to teach people how to read. But not every one of you is at the same level. All of you are at different levels. That's why I definitely encourage you to, send me an email. If you have my phone number, send me a text message just so I can see what level you're at, so I can see what you know already, and then we could take it from there. Worst case scenario, you know nothing, absolutely nothing when it comes to reading, not even your letters. And in about 2 years, I want to say, depending on your dedication, and of course, depending on the amount of time that I have, but depending on your dedication, I can get you to read fluently and understand pretty much high level texts within a year and a half or two. I can definitely have you reading at a level one or two or three in a few months. But again, it's a two-way street. It's not only about the skills and experience that I have, it's really about, the timing and what you're willing to, put in when it comes to being dedicated to that. But again, a lot of you just love the speaking thing. I want to sound American. I want to sound like a New Yorker. And then you're just so focused on the speaking part, you're not understanding the other modalities, the other types of practice and strategies that you need to be able to completely master English. I personally feel like reading is the most important one. And that's just my opinion. Someone else can say it's listening. Someone else who's an expert at English can say it's writing. And I do feel all of those are important, but it's just my opinion that reading is, the if not the most important, one of the most important, right? I also feel writing is important. And I feel reading and writing actually go hand in hand because if you're able to read, if you practice your reading every day, you're now able to write better as well. We have a natural thing as human beings to adapt and to want to sound like things or people that inspire us. So if you're reading a certain type of author or if you're reading a certain type of book and you understand that book, you start getting motivated, you start getting inspired, and you naturally want to create. So one of the ways we create as human beings is, by using these tools. You heard of the quote? You ever heard of this quote? The pen is mightier than the what? The pen is mightier than the sword, right? Basically, a pencil is more powerful than a gun. Now, some of you street kids might be laughing at that, right? But guess what? When people are trying to go to war with other countries, it all starts with words. When people are trying to overtake resources or, take over people's territories, it all starts with words. So that's why that quote, a pen is mightier than a sword, is a very powerful quote. I'm getting off topic a little bit here though, just rambling on. If you if you feel that writing is a way out or is a way to escape or is a way to help you release whatever types of problems or emotions or stress you're dealing with, then you're absolutely right. Writing does that. I'm just here to tell you that reading improves your writing skills and it helps you get better at giving examples in your own texts. It helps you relay that information even better. I can talk forever about writing, and that's why I almost got distracted here, but I just wanted to let you know that, that's one of the things that can help you become a better English speaker is writing, and then reading, of course, helps you become a better writer. Reading also helps keep your mind growing. Um, I'm hoping to get into a reading activity actually later when I'm done talking about how glorious and amazing reading is. So if you're not here to learn, then this channel is definitely not for you. First of all, the channel's for English language learners. These are adults, students who are trying to improve their English, who are trying to either get better at English or learn that English language to get better at their work, maybe to get a better position on their job, maybe to get a promotion, or maybe just to understand people at work better. Right. So that's the main purpose of the channel. If you read the description of the channel, you will see that. But, I've been teaching English for over 20 years, and I just love helping anybody either read, write, speak, or listen better. But primarily, the whole purpose of this channel is to offer free English classes to my students who are pretty much from all over the world at this point. So we were just talking about reading a little bit, and I want to keep rambling on a little bit more because I gave you a little bit here and there about the value and importance of reading, but there are plenty more examples that I can get into. But my main thing is maybe I'll save that for another video. It is kind of late and I'm getting tired. I don't even know who's on here listening right now. um, I'm just so used to either being in person teaching, or if I'm online, I usually have a notification telling me when people are in the chat, like ding ding, telling me that someone's there. But if you're there and you're still listening, thank you very much. I'm going to check on you in a little bit. I just wanted to talk about my last main point about reading, which is how fun it is. And, it may sound corny, but a lot of people who don't enjoy reading or who hate reading, and trust me, I've seen the toughest, I've seen the roughest from the hardest cities, in this country. And the ones who hate reading only hate it because they don't know how to do it at the end of the day. And the second we get a chance to teach them that or show them that, they enjoy it. They start writing poetry, they start reading other people's poetry, they start reading about topics that they love. Um just look at any penitentiary, right? Look at any jail in this country. It is full of people who just didn't know how to read, but as soon as they got in there, reading was one of the main things that kept them focused and, I want to say kept them alive. So I'm here to tell you, before you get into the penitentiary or before you get into any serious trouble, that reading is fun and it can keep you out of trouble. All you have to do is give yourself a chance to learn how to do it. So with that said, that's one of the main things that I want to start doing on this channel, is teaching people how to read. And it's just a very long process, especially online when you're not getting, any feedback from anyone. I would have to just stick to a rugged routine and a format that's just kind of hoping I throw it out there and it just catches the right person. At the end of the day, it's gonna take a lot of, faith on my part that I'm making a video that is reaching the right person at the right time. All right, so let's do it like this because it's 10:44. At least on my side, it's 10:44 Eastern. I want to get into one of these activities right now. By the way, these are the four, not only the four, but four of the hundreds of different resources that I use when it comes to teaching English language learners. Probably my four favorite, but I'm such a nerd like that. I have way more than four that I consider my favorite. It depends on the situation, it depends on the person. But I definitely want to get into either one of these. Hopefully it clicks on ReadWorks cuz and we could actually read something together. There was something happened today on YouTube Live, and YouTube Live is like now like a television channel, right? All these content creators are on here. It's like they have their own network. Like back in the days, we used to talk about HBO and we used to talk about, Channel 7. First of all, if you grew up around my time, we only had like, I want to say seven channels. We only had Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 11, and Channel 13, right? That's the only channels we had. So you would know the certain time to go watch your favorite show. You would know what channel that favorite show is on. And then a little bit after that, maybe after I was about 7 years old when there was those channels that we were talking about. A little bit after that, we started getting channels like 31. And if you know 31, shout out to Video Music Box if you used to watch that back in the days. Of course, I had an older sister, so she put me onto that. Shout out Dorothy, love you, Dart. And then we had Channel 54, and Channel 54 was like the very first YouTube. Don't know if you guys remember. If you remember Channel 54, let me know in the comments. But if you're from, I'm from New York. If you're from New York and you know Channel 54, or if you know about Channel 31, let me know in the comments, man. Those were the days. That was before cable television. That was before Verizon, before what are all these cable companies called? I don't even know anymore because the cable companies are like going away. They're dying down. That was before satellite TV. You had antennas on your roof instead of a dish, right? Instead of a dish. Direct TV is another one. There you go. It's so hard to remember these stations, these different companies, because the whole point is YouTube is pretty much the new cable. YouTube is a new cable. Like there's no more Cinemax and HBO, and nobody really cares about those billion trillion dollar companies anymore. It looks like not even YouTube cares about them because YouTube's been really pushing out these small content creators. Like they're on my page all the time. Anyway, to let me get to the point. Um an amazing channel I was watching today. And if you know what, if we hit this random ReadWorks wheel right now, we're gonna read a quick article, really quick article, answer some comprehension questions, look at some vocabulary, of course. But if we hit this ReadWorks button right now, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about this channel. This channel was so inspiring. I actually did not feel like coming to make a video, but this person who was speaking, she was just motivating me, and she's motivating thousands, I want to say thousands of people right now just to, come on here and give the world whatever you need to give the world. What do I have to offer? 2 decades, over 2 decades of precise, concise, strategic English planning and English learning. Ever since college, when I picked up my first book in high school, Miss Kalansky, thank you, Miss Kalansky. Shout out to Miss Kalansky. When I picked up my first real book in high school, and then I started enjoying reading, it still took me a while to actually grasp it, right? To get a good grasp on it. I was really just reading at that point to get my 75 and get out. But that one introduction of that book kind of opened doors for me, and ever since then, my writing's been getting better, my poetry's been getting better, but mainly my understanding of life has been getting better. So if we hit this ReadWorks button, which is what I want, but I love Ellie too. You already know I love Ellie. Go check out my other videos. You'll see how much I love Ellie. Of course, I love Kahoot, especially in a larger class setting with a bunch of people on. Is There's nothing more exciting than a Kahoot. And I'm on dictionary.com every day building my vocabulary. I don't know every word in the world, but my goal is to just definitely at least learn a new word every day. Back in the days, it was to learn 3 new words every day. But with time, right now, 1 new word every day is good enough for me. So you can definitely catch my word of the day shorts. If you've seen my word of the day shorts, I'm sorry if I missed a couple of days. I promise you, I'm going to catch up on all of them. By the end of the year, my goal is to make sure we have a word of the day for every day of the year. So we're looking at 365 shorts, 365 words of the day. So I am a couple days backed up, but the information's in my phone, just trying to find the time to to upload those. Back to the point. Brings us right back to ReadWorks right here. If ReadWorks hits, we're gonna read an article, quick little article. We're gonna answer some questions. We're gonna definitely learn some vocabulary. But then I want to talk to you about why I chose this article if we hit the ReadWorks, right? If we don't hit the ReadWorks, then it's not meant for you to hear about this person that I'm talking about right now. But I already know one day I'm going to talk about this person, and you will know who she is because she's just inspiring and motivating so many people on her channel. She's the reason I started talking about cable right now. Like, cable is done. These major, large TV broadcasting stations are done. Especially the news stations. The news stations have been done ever since COVID. You have social media. Social media became the real news. People on social media became the real news. Doctors and doctors on social media became the real doctors. So this one particular person, much respect to her, she motivated me to come and put this video out here. She said, "Look, you have people that are trying to tap into your channel for something. What is that something? If they don't get it from you, they're going to get it from someone else. And it's okay if they get it from someone else because the more they learn, the better it is for them, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Like, I'm always going to other English teachers and learning from them. So why can't they go to other English teachers and learn from them?" He said, "Yeah, but they need you. They also need you." So then I came on here to make the video. And I'm like, "But how about if no one's watching it?" She's like, "Somebody's going to watch it. And the person that watches it, that's the person that needs to hear it. Right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." So here I am. She motivated me to come over here. You know what? Let's spin this wheel and see what we come up with. It is like right in the middle. Which one is it going to be? I don't even know. Oh, it's the Ellie. All right, Harriet. Look, Harriet, you know who I'm talking to. You know who you are, Harriet. This whole live right now is about to be about you, but maybe next time. Right now, we're gonna go on to the Ellie. Shout out to Ellie, of course. We have a quick asking for directions tab open here. I'm not gonna get into all the lessons. I just wanted to do a quick reading from it. So when I launch the task, can you guys, I hope you see the screen okay. But when I launch the task, we're just going to get into the dialogue, maybe the vocabulary, and then the dialogue. You know what? This is not too bad. This is not too bad. You know what? Let's do this whole thing. I want to try to get to bed by midnight. Let's do this whole thing. So let's warm up. We're going to learn how to ask for directions. Hopefully you can see this. Let me make it a little bit bigger. All right. Do you sometimes ask people for directions on the street? Why or why not? Of course, the way this works, these are warm-up questions. We're not here face to face, so you can definitely throw your answers in the chat. I'm going to give you a little sample answer from my mind, and hopefully this just builds up our momentum to get into the lesson. So, do you sometimes ask people for directions on the street? Why or why not? You know, before these things came out, we used to ask for a lot of directions on the street, and there used to be people who send you on the wrong path on purpose. So I'm kind of glad that that's one good thing about technology, that I know people shun technology a lot of the times. But one of the good things about technology is just the GPS. You know, the GPS can just let you know exactly where you're going, and you don't have to get lost. But yeah, if my phone is dead, or if my GPS is tripping or tweaking, then yeah, definitely I can ask for directions on the street. And again, why or why not? Because if I don't have service, or if I don't have battery and I need to get someplace important, I need to get to someplace important, then I have to ask someone for directions, and hopefully they know where they're going, or they know what they're talking about. All right. So I'd love to hear your answer to that in the chat. When was the last time you got lost? When was the last time you got lost? You know, again, I don't like saying I got lost, because, you know, I believe in a higher power, and I do believe whatever happens for a reason, whatever track you're on, if you're taking left or you're taking right, and you know you're going off course a little bit, it's definitely for a good reason, and it's definitely something that's, I believe, is something that could possibly save your life or save you from some type of injury. You know, so I don't want to say got lost. So the last time I got lost, probably, you know, I was a teenager or something, when I didn't understand these things. But other than that, you know, I don't consider it lost. I consider it as, you know, you're in the right place at the right time. Because if you didn't get quote unquote lost, then probably something bad could have happened to you. And look at me now, 44 years old. I'm still here. I'm still standing. It's a lot of misdirections and a lot of misturns that I've taken in my life, and I'm still here. And I'm absolutely fine, you know? So I don't want to consider it loss. But how about you? Did you ever get lost? I'm just going to keep rambling without a script. That's what YouTube wants. They don't want me to use a script, so I'm not using a script. Do you use a map when you are out of town? Again, we have these, right? The map is on here, the navigation is on here, the GPS is on here. Even people, there's people on here that you can call. So, you know, luckily we have our telephones to get around. So yes, I do use a map when I'm out of town, and I use a map when I'm in town as well. How about you? Please leave your answers in the chat. All right, that's just our little warm up there. Let's get into some vocabulary. I want to say that you actually know all of these words, but you may be one of my entering students who does not. So, with that said, when I do add this into the classroom, I do want to see you answer them. So, I'm not going to answer them on here, but I'll definitely talk about them. You know, I'm definitely going to read the words and then read the definitions for you. So, this is block, post office, interrupt, out of town. A place where you mail letters and buy stamps. What do you think that is? A place where you mail letters and buy stamps. Which one of these four words? In a place where you are not a local resident. If you're in a place where you are not a local resident, then what are you? It's one of these four choices. To take someone's attention away from something or someone. Is it out of town, interrupt, post office, or block? Notice what we're doing. We're reading, you're listening, I'm speaking. Hopefully, you would be speaking if you're doing this activity with someone at home. I know a lot of you like to work, as a family, husband and wife, all the time sitting together working on Ellie. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing. But you guys have each other to practice English with. If you don't have anyone to practice your English with, that's why going to classes is so important, because there's always someone in the classroom with you who's learning the same subject as you, who might have the same goals as you, and then you can both be able to practice the English together. One section of a street between two crossroads. What is one section of a street between two crossroads? Is it block, post office, interrupt, or out of town? All right, that was our vocabulary preview A. Let's go to the next vocabulary preview. Again, shout out to Ellie. If you don't know Ellie, it is the former ESL library. And hopefully one day, you know, um, maybe I could do some affiliate marketing with them. Because their resources are amazing, and it's so easy for me to talk about this because it has helped me so many times throughout my career. But let's continue. A red, green, or amber light that tells people to stop, go, or slow down. If you're commanding or expanding, this is probably very easy for you, but I'm sure you probably just learned this word, amber, so you can look that up. You can't miss it. Traffic light, repeat, or I've got it. Which one of those words represents a red, green, or amber light that tells people to stop, go, or slow down? I have a quick opportunity to teach you another strategy when it comes to reading. It's called context clues. So it's not all the time when you're reading something that you're going to have a dictionary on hand. Sometimes you're going to have to use the words before and the words after to be able to figure out what does this word mean. So if you've never heard this word amber, for example, all you would have to do is read the words before and read the words after, and then 9 times out of 10 the author already told you the definition of that word, or they gave you a hint to what that word is. So you have red here, red is a color. Green here, green is a color. We know that they're lights, so we already know amber is a type of light. And this word or is telling us that amber is not green and amber is not red. And this amber light, it also tells people to stop, go, or slow down. Well, we already know, especially if you're an adult, red means stop if you're in a car. Green, you have the green light. That means you can go. So, what do you think amber light means? Here is telling us it means slow down. What color light tells you to slow down? Let me know in the comments if you have that answer. What color light tells you when to slow down? So, those are called context clues. Context clues, using the words before and after the word that you're trying to figure out in order to determine the meaning. All right, this says it's easy or plain to see. Which one of these words means easy or plain to see? You can't miss it, traffic light, repeat, or I've got it. To say again. Can you blank the question, please? To say again. I gave you a little hint, guys. Is it I've got it, repeat, traffic light, or you can't miss it? And last but not least, I understand. Which one of these words best represents I understand? If you're just tuning in, we're Currently just working on an Ellie program right now for English language learners. This is an English language learning channel, and we are all adults here, so we're trying to improve our English skills. And I just got through maybe giving a 20 or 15-minute speech about how important reading is, and I decided to, do a reading activity with one of my favorite resources. And we are now here. We just got through some vocabulary words because we're going to listen and watch a video about someone asking for directions. And those vocabulary words that we just learned are going to be incorporated into not only this video reference, but all of these activities that we have planned ahead. Hopefully, we can be done with this whole thing in 20 or 30 minutes. But I'm telling you, I love teaching so much. I didn't even want to go live. But as soon as I started teaching, I'm up right now. I could do 10 more of these lessons in a row. All right, I'm exaggerating. But I can definitely do a few more of these lessons. But we're going to get through this lesson. I'm going to upload it, post it, no editing. And we'll see if what these people are talking about is true. Because, at the end of the day, I can teach for free. Why? Because I got myself a job, right? I'm working already. So I'm not desperate for money like a lot of people may be. But, if you're desperate for money, it is what it is. I've been there before. You just got to hustle. You just got to grind. You just got to do something. I just thank God that I'm able to teach free English because, I'm not wanting for money at this point. But we're going to watch this dialogue, and then, we're going to try to discover what I was talking about when we read this dialogue, how reading can help you improve your English language skills. All right. So hopefully you're able to hear this clearly. I'm not sure if I should mute myself or not, but I'm going to turn off my mic just in case the sound or the audio is picking up. Okay.
Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to the post office?
I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm from out of town.
Excuse me, do you know where the post office is?
Sure, it's not far from here. Walk straight ahead until you get to Main Street. Then,
Sorry to interrupt you. How many blocks is that?
it's about 2 or 3 blocks. It's the first traffic light you come to. When you get to Main Street, turn right and walk 1 block to Broadway. Then turn left and go about half a block.
Which side of the street is it on?
Coming from this direction, it'll be on your right side. It's in the middle of the block, next to the Sweets ice cream shop. You can't miss it. Do you want me to repeat any of that?
Nope, that's okay. I've got it. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I actually do need you to repeat that, please. That was confusing. No, I'm only kidding. But so that was a quick conversation. If you are part of my class, you will see this assignment inside the classroom. You can definitely watch this video again. Of course, the more you watch it, the more you understand. But we have this dialogue here where we're now gonna, get to listen to it and get to read along with the words. Another thing that makes Ellie great, you have the words right in front of you. You have a beautiful voice reading to you right here. And you can hide the text just to listen if you want to practice only your listening skills, which is a great strategy as well. And then after you do that, you can definitely just show the text, not play the audio, and also just read. All right. So again, We have three different things we can do with these vocabulary words that we just went over. We can read them, which is just scrolling down and reading the words to the best of our ability. I suggest you do that step last. The first step that I suggest you do is watch the video, which we did that. Then the next step I want you to do is just hit play while the text is showing. So we're going to do that now. And then lastly, if you really want to practice again, well, not lastly, but thirdly, you would hide the text and then press play just to listen. Because what's happening when you do that is your brain is absorbing the words that are playing through the speaker, and your mind is trying to form those words, images of those words, and pictures of those words to give you a better understanding of what you're listening to. And then the last step would be not listening to the audio, showing the text, and trying to read to the best of your ability. All right. So we're going to save that last and final step for you, for those dedicated students who love to practice and who love to learn. But we're not going to do that step together. We're just going to listen to this audio and read it one time, and then we're going to try to get into some comprehension questions. All right. So we have a man number one, man number two, and then we have a woman. To my students who are at home right now, if you have two other people in the house with you and you need to practice and you have no one to practice with, go get those two people. Someone could be man number one, someone could be man number two, and you could be the woman. Or if you're a man, you could be man number one and man number two, and then they could be man number one and woman, and vice versa. Go get two people, and then after listening to this dialogue together, you can practice with them, okay?
Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to the post office?
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm from out of town.
Excuse me, do you know where the post office is?
Sure, it's not far from here. Walk straight ahead until you get to Main Street. Then
Sorry to interrupt you. How many blocks is that?
it's about 2 or 3 blocks. It's the first traffic light you come to. When you get to Main Street, turn right and walk 1 block to Broadway. Then turn left and go about half a block.
Which side of the street is it on?
Coming from this direction, it'll be on your right side. It's in the middle of the block, next to the Sweets ice cream shop. You can't miss it. Do you want me to repeat any of that?
Nope, that's okay. I've got it. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that guy speaks English, so of course he got it, right? But if you're struggling to learn English, or if you're just, stepping into this country, you're going to need a little bit more help with that, right? You're going to need her to speak a little bit slower. You're probably going to need her to show you a visual. Um, but that's how directions work. When someone's in a rush, or if someone's going to work, or if someone's basically trying to get to where they have to go to and you interrupt them, you stop them, right? That's the vocabulary word that was used, interrupt. If you're stopping them, he says, sorry to interrupt you. If you're stopping them to ask them for help or directions, then they may not have the time to speak slowly, or to, make sure you understand, break everything down for you to get to where you're going. They're just going to tell you really quick. And especially in New York, where we come from, if someone's even stopping for a second to help you out, then you just got to be grateful, right? You don't want to keep asking that person, what'd you say? Or how many blocks that, like, nah, just take what you can get. All right. Take what you can get around here. That's how it is where I'm from. You take what you can get, because you can make someone very angry when they were just trying to help you. All right. So now we have one of my favorite activities here is a story scramble. I actually love doing this activity in person. Just cut up some paper, print out the story, cut it up in a bunch of pieces, and I love watching you guys get into a group and put it together. But in this case, you're on your own here. You're gonna have to work on your own. Again, if you do not have Ellie and you're not in my class, just shoot me an email and then I can definitely help you be a part of that class. I'm trying to find, as I was saying way earlier in the live, I'm trying to find a better way to get us all organized so that we can all meet up at the same time. But of course, we all have different schedules. We all have different obligations, but it's gonna work out, and I know it's gonna work out. I just gotta try to, sit down and figure it out. All right. So this conversation here is not in order. All you're doing is putting it in order. If you want to participate, even if you're not in the class, though, you can still do that. Just by looking at these numbers, you see number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you are in the class, you're just sliding it and the numbers change. But if you're not in the class, just write these numbers in the comments, right? Or you could write these numbers on a post-it, and then you can email me that, and then I'll be able to tell you, if you had the correct order or not. But obviously the best solution would be just to join the class. It's free. We're talking about learning free English over here, right? All right. So once you click submit, I can see your response. And yeah, I got everything wrong because I'm not going to do the answers on here because I would like you to do the practice. All right. So we have some comprehension questions here. We can hide the text or we can hide the reference to make the questions bigger. And if we need to go back, all you have to do is click that reference again, and then everything pops back up. Okay. So why is the first man talking to people he doesn't know? Why is this guy talking to people he doesn't know? There are 4 choices here. You just have to choose one. One of them is the best answer. Is it he can't find his map? He is looking for the post office? He can't find the subway? Or he can't speak the language? That's what we were talking about, right? But what do you think the answer is? Because, apparently, I'll just give you a little hint on this one. Apparently, this guy speaks the language very well. He was able to understand the directions without any problem. But I don't want to give you too much. But I gave you a little hint there. There are 4 more questions. Question number 2. Why can't the second man help the man who was looking for something? What did he say? Do you remember that? Let's go back to the text and see. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm from out of town. Right? He was out. He was gone. You're stuck. You're lost. And he doesn't care. He's from out of town. He can't help you. Happens a lot. So why can't he help the man who's looking for something? Right? The answer's right there. I'm staring at it, but I'm not going to point you to it. You would have to tell me, and then I will definitely be able to check your answers and grade that. How far away is the post office? It's just a few blocks away. It's too far away to walk to. This information is not provided, or it's about 15 minutes away on foot. Question number 4. What does the woman say to do after getting to Main Street? Does she say to keep walking half a block? Walk to the ice cream shop and turn right? Walk up to Broadway and turn left? Or walk down to Main and turn left? What does she say there? And our last comprehension question, what does the woman offer to do after giving the directions? Does she offer to repeat the directions? Does she offer to call him a taxi? Does she offer to give him a map? Or does she offer to walk with the man? All right, once you're done, you can click submit. All right, we have a phrase match here for our next activity. Just matching the phrases with these statements here. So this first statement is actually a question. Do you know how to get there? What happened in the conversation? Either I'm sorry, I don't know. Did you catch all that? It's easy to find. It's not far from here. It's at the next intersection. Can you tell me how to get there? Which one of those? I'm afraid I don't know. I'm afraid I don't know. What happened in the dialogue, in the conversation that made someone say, I'm afraid I don't know? Is it, it's not far from here? It's easy to find. Did you catch all that? I'm sorry, I don't know. It's at the next intersection. Can you tell me how to get there? All right. I'm not going to continue reading all of those, even though I can. And if you want me to, at least for the next time, just let me know. You could put it in the comments. Please continue reading all the options or say, yes, please keep reading. And I don't have a problem reading these 100 times. But I feel that if I shut up sometimes, then it gives you the opportunity to try to practice the reading, especially after giving a speech about reading for about 15, 20 minutes. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't let you read right now. So I'm just going to stay quiet with these options. I'll continue reading the last few over here, the last few statements here, and then I'll let you read the options. All right. Number 4, do you need me to repeat any of that? Do you need me to repeat any of that? Number 5, you can't miss it. Number 6, it's at the next set of lights. It's at the next set of lights. All right, so we're matching the phrases. Which ones go together? And then another great activity for you to practice your listening and writing, right? So if you don't have the actual credentials to get into this class, you can definitely still participate. You can listen and then you can write on loose leaf paper and then just email me that. I'll make sure my email's in the description so that for those of you who don't have it, you're able to email me any responses of the activities that we went through. I don't have a problem checking it and giving you feedback, okay? So we're going to listen and you're going to fill in the blanks with the word. If you really want to boost your skills and boost your practice in writing, write the whole entire sentence, the whole entire question, the whole entire statement down. Write the whole dialogue down. If you're writing down this entire dialogue as you're reading, trust me, you're getting stronger at not only reading, but you're getting stronger at writing and you're getting stronger at listening. And, what more can you ask for other than speaking? And if you still have those 2 people in the house next to you that helped you with the dialogue that I told you about, remember a couple minutes ago? Yeah. Ask them to take a seat. And then when you're done with this, read it to them and then have a discussion with them. And then that's your speaking. That's your 4 modalities: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. All right. So I'm just going to play this real quick. I'm going to go on mute just in case there's an echo.
Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to the post office?
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm from out of town.
Excuse me, do you know where the post office is?
Sure, it's not far from here. Walk straight ahead until you get to Main Street. Then
Sorry to interrupt you. How many blocks is that?
it's about 2 or 3 blocks. It's the first traffic light you come to. When you get to Main Street, turn right and walk 1 block to Broadway. Then turn left and go about half a block.
Which side of the street is it on?
Coming from this direction, it'll be on your right side. It's in the middle of the block, next to the Sweets ice cream shop. You can't miss it. Do you want me to repeat any of that?
Nope, that's okay. I've got it. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
I just realized this microphone was off, but hopefully my backup mic kicked in and you heard that. If not, oh well, YouTube is on easy mode. YouTube doesn't care about the editing. I'm gonna let that play. But hopefully my backup mic picked that up. All right, man. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching, if you made it all the way to the end, why not subscribe? I do this all the time. Not only with Ellie, I have Kahoot, I have dictionary.com, where we learn plenty of vocabulary words. I have ReadWorks, I have Newsy LA, I have YouTube, I have just going to different people's channels and learning about grammar and learning about reading and learning about, there's plenty of things to discuss and to learn here. Okay. So if you made it this far, thank you for your subscription. It means a lot to me. And my goal is to just at the end of the day help you become a better English speaker, reader, writer, and listener. All right. So thanks for joining us and have a good night. I'll see you next time. Okay. All right. Bye.